Roll 'em. I'll take a motion to start the January 14th meeting.
I move that now that I'm finally here, we open the meeting for January 14th.
Yeah, thanks. Second.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Kurt Baker, Town Planner, and Larry Graham, Town Planning Board Review Agent, are in attendance. At 7:30, we have a continued site plan review for Ed Sotheby at 4 Main Street. Proposed salon and ancillary use to be determined later. We're at the point now where I believe everybody in their packet has a certificate of vote, which is the permit that we need to vote on this evening. If anybody have any, including Larry? Kurt, you have a copy for?
Did you get
I can use
Yeah.
mine. I mean, this looks like a copy.
Yeah.
It's a final copy. Does anybody we need to go through this?
I can.
I've read it. It looks-
I can-
line by line.
I have two comments.
Oh, okay. I thought.
That's why we're, oh, first of all, I should have asked, have you seen it? Okay, nice.
These do reflect your.
Well, I don't know, do
changes.
you want us to consider trying to close this up?
Yeah, you can consider it.
They will give you.
Do you have any desires or any, I mean, I guess one of the things, I believe you met with the Historical Commission, but first of all, I want to take Chris's comments and
I can
then
report on this.
we'll get up to date on what transpired there, so.
Actually, I note just, and I see that it's something, some mistake that's made in a couple of different places. Everything for the town of Raleigh is recorded in the Essex South District Registry of Deeds, not North District.
Is it? Okay. Is it? I thought you made a change on my last copy about it was being North County.
Did I?
Yeah.
I did, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. You changed it.
So you referenced that you got to record the special permit in the
Yeah.
Northern District, which isn't this jurisdiction.
Oh,
I know you
okay.
do the same assumption for the 111 Turnpike, so.
Can you
it's
point that out, that's over on
Yeah, I
page
was
3?
gonna say,
It's
I-
ESRD.
All right, I gotta make that
is
change on all.
That's, I have, it's on page 4.
It's on page 4,
On the
exactly.
first paragraph.
Paragraph
on number
3.
3.
Yeah.
So that should be set.
Should be so.
I apologize if I did that to you.
The only other question I have, and apologize for not being there, are we requiring some sort of a maintenance agreement for the stormwater management? Because I noticed that that we state we're satisfied with the adequacy of all the documents, including a maintenance for the building, but is there any stormwater that we need a schedule on?
Number 7, to be a draft, subject to a draft of the maintenance agreement for the proposed infiltration basin prior to the planning board certifying the project.
Okay.
compliance with the plan.
It's coming.
It's coming, gotcha. So,
Is that correct? Is that correctly represented on number 7?
Page 4.
That satisfies my concern. I noticed it earlier.
All right, so Kurt, you're going to probably have to, we can take a vote subject to that change, but you're going to have to retype it. And
Okay.
I will sign it.
I was really.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
I did ask.
I'll sign it.
What are we gonna do? Just,
I'll sign it on Monday.
we're just gonna change the northern to southern?
Yeah.
You can write that down.
Or you can even scratch out, you can even scratch out north or south. There's only one registry it's supposed to go in, and it's Essex County.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you, Kurt, but you could do that. It's not a major change.
Well, what does the board say? Should I hold on to the?
I wouldn't,
Well, we're just taking, the main thing is the
Can the
vote.
board vote, because you signed it, can the board not take a vote tonight?
That's what I'm saying, we
Yeah,
can
we
make a
can.
vote subject to that
We can
change.
go
Larry,
with
any more comments?
Yeah, I was waiting.
Okay.
I have number 5.
Okay, now, listen up, number 5,
Number 5 and number 6,
that's why we're going over this.
when? Prior to what?
So we need to put a
And
time on those.
it's probably prior to building permit for number 5, maybe number 6.
Well, he won't get a building permit unless he does it.
Yeah, that's how the building inspector actually wrote his original. He had said he's not gonna issue a building permit until.
You wanna word that
So
differently, it's fine.
that's understood then, number 5
Yeah.
understood.
Well, no, if you wanna
Well, I
elucidate
mean,
that.
it doesn't hurt to put it in.
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
Larry, if that's our customer, it's a little bit of a passive
Keep moving
fortune.
ahead, you know?
We usually, have prior to occupancy, prior to building, prior to,
So, all right, well, how do you
lots
wanna
of
word
time to
that?
put that in.
Just listen carefully, I mean, this is more semantics here, but.
What about subject?
Right at the very end,
Before-
prior to the
before-
issuance of a building permit.
Before permit.
Yeah.
Just add on
So how should
before
that
permit.
read?
Right at the very end, it's prior to the issuance of a
Subject to
building
providing the building inspector with written confirmation of instruction.
permit. Either at the beginning or the end.
Or you could do it after.
Prior to the issuance of a building permit.
That's it.
You do it
Okay,
after-
that should be at the end, I think.
Or you can do it after building inspector.
How about at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Really the same thing for 6 too. I
Yeah.
think that was what the health department had.
Right.
They actually-
All right, that's just kind of, because on Ken's, it's kind of, if it originates there, it's kind of, is that okay? I mean, it's inferred, but we just want to write it out, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, it's obvious. Other ones there?
Well, 7,
Number 7? Listen up carefully, number 7.
you want the maintenance agreement prior to building permit again, or?
Yes.
But 7 says prior to certifying the project's compliance with the terms and conditions of the site plan.
I did that because that's, under the way the zoning bylaw reads about compliance, that's the procedure that's actually prescribed.
Well, I think this approval is really the planning board certification of being in accordance with the site plan.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I don't
this
know where
approval
that-
represents.
That's new language. I don't think we've ever used that.
Well, could
I
I
mean,
just,
it's a little unclear
Yeah, explain it.
when that would happen.
7.65, I just wanted to, the section 7.6.5, compliance with approved site plan. I just kind of, I didn't know if you guys had done this, but it talks about, except as provided in section 7652, no occupancy permit may be issued for any building subject to the approval of planning board under the section until a registered engineer architect certifies to the planning board that all construction improvements have been completed in accordance with approved site plan and approved field changes. And B, the board through its technical consultant verifies all conditions of the approved site plan and any approved field changes have been met. So,
I think
just
that's right.
making a reference to that,
I think they're talking about.
That sounds like an as-built, the as-built.
no, this is compliance with approved site plan, any site.
Yeah, it talks,
And
so we're talking
field
about physical features of the site plan. I don't know if it's talking about maintenance agreements, which is not,
Well, you're just assuming that's part of it, one and the same, it's part
Yeah,
of
I
it.
mean,
I mean,
it's
that-
compliant that we,
It's part of
before.
we haven't done it this way in the past, as far as I can remember. And I think-
We're always open to it.
Well, but it seems to me
It's a little
that
word.
the bright line is the issuance of the building permit. That's the easiest,
Yeah.
because they can't do anything until they get one.
So it reads
I
now,
just
it
said-
reads now, do you see how it reads
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, I don't know what this zoning bylaw is referencing is, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal, just before you get the building permit.
Zoning bylaw basically,
That makes
and you
more
know,
sense
it
to me.
basically says you're in compliance.
But we do want to make sure that.
Subject to
that
inspection
Ken's not
and
in a
review of
position
all of these
where
conditions.
He's holding a building permit when he doesn't feel like he has the authority.
In other words,
Or they put it-
just
I
so
think
that you won't
that's
issue a
kind of
building
it.
permit
But this
until
other one, he's
these are
actually said as
fulfilled.
part of his
That's all.
condition, he's not
That makes sense.
issuing a building
That's
permit
fine.
until that one condition is met.
Cool.
But in this other case, this is a planning board requirement. I don't know that he would be wanting to hold a building permit. He may not feel like he's legally able to do that.
No, we've never heard them say
Couldn't you
say
put
that.
the draft maintenance agreement of the proposed infiltration basin approved by the planning board prior to the issuance of the building permit? And get the job done that way?
Yeah, I'm sorry, say it, could you say that? one more?
Submitting a draft of a maintenance agreement for the proposed infiltration basin approved by the planning board prior to issuance of a building permit.
Yeah, that would be fine.
I think it's the job
Are
done.
we
So
good?
approved by the planning board. Can we
Yeah,
say in
prior.
accordance with zoning bylaws,
And then you
section 7.6.5, or just to put
It's
the
not
compliance
really
language?
necessary.
You can take out terms and conditions. You can say in accordance,
Yeah, it's not-
but you don't really have to because it's implied. I mean, that's,
It's a specific.
because
it's a
7.6.5
specific item.
is the whole process of having approval of the site plan, so it's
Right.
already
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
It's already stated in the, you know,
I mean, not just for this applicant, but for other applicants, I think that kind of language saying you're not gonna get a building permit until you do this really grabs their attention, you know,
Yeah.
it should grab their attention.
Yeah.
you know?
well, it's unambiguous. That's-
Yeah, right, so
that's-
it's a bright line, that's the way I've always done it, I think we should stick with that.
Okay. Well, I think as long as you say, prior to planning,
It's all one of the.
as long as the planning board, as long as the building inspector can receive something from the planning board to give the
Right.
clearance. That's what he's at least gonna
Yeah,
ask
right,
for, is a clearance.
right, yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're not expecting Ken to.
So it's
to
something
review
that
and
the planning
approve
board
it.
approves
Right.
Yeah.
prior to the issuance.
Right.
of building.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. It's part of the learning experience here. Or anything else?
Number 8, I just think change the word prior in that last line to at the commencement. Not prior to, because we don't want them to have to take equipment out there just to do this.
Okay.
Yeah,
They can do it
That makes
once they
sense.
get equipment on the site.
is that all right?
That's fine.
Okay. That clarifies that a bit.
And then number 9 is, again, do we have the right prior to for that? The water line connections?
That one reads, subject to the applicant obtaining approval. You see that one, you guys?
Mhm.
We had talked about that because you're at the whim of the water department in that regard. So,
Mhm.
subject to the applicant obtaining approval from the town's water department for the, you want to put Raleigh Water Department? For the 2 proposed lateral water line connections for commercial water service prior to planning board certification of compliance with the condition. All right, why wouldn't they have to get approval for the water service prior to us certifying?
Well,
Compliance.
again, unless you're talking about the as-built, I think this document is your certification of
Yeah,
compliance
I
with
think-
site plan
I
approval.
think it is, yeah.
That's where.
Right, that's
where I-
more of a, yeah, that's part of construction and part of, before you get a CO, you would have to have that.
But you guys haven't applied to the water department, have you? That was part of like what we had talked, like, they were gonna have to do an application for the service to the water department.
So this would be prior to obtaining the
Yeah.
building permit.
Yeah.
Do you need to get approval
It's
for the
it's
water
not-
prior to get a building permit or
It's not
not?
necessarily approval, it's just filling out an application, paying a fee, I think. And
Oh,
that's-
so-
Yeah,
so,
yeah, there's no approval from, yeah.
Right.
Don't they check
I mean-
they check the plans, so.
Yeah, I mean, if they had any recommendations, you know, they put those forth, but it's really just.
That's part of the application.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the way, I sent the plan to the water department, they're not going to approve, they're not gonna comment on it until they fill out an application.
Mhm.
And so I had said, look, we'll write it up as a condition of approval that they'll still have to get, you know, but the water department never really commented on any of the water connections
Mhm.
because there hasn't been an application.
Right, I don't see a problem with that, because we'll be doing it anyways. As soon as they get it, we'll have a meeting. It's not gonna really hold them up.
I don't really like this language, you know, prior to planning board certification of compliance, because it's not, to me, it's not clear when that's gonna happen and what it is, you know, whereas if you say something has to be done but before the building permit is issued, then everyone understands what that means.
Well, I think he's trying to be consistent one way or the other, where we always said prior to a building permit, and I think you're saying that the building permit is incorporated in by saying in accordance with sections 7.6.5.
Yeah.
So it's one or the other, you know, right? I mean,
Well, I don't know, I just don't understand what that language means, I mean, it just,
Well, that's
so I don't,
just
so
very-
if I don't understand, I assume that most applicants wouldn't understand it either.
I don't understand.
Well,
It also
I
says
mean,
two
it's
proposed,
actually-
one is existing already.
Yeah, right. I mean, you
Yeah.
could do it prior to the
One to one.
occupancy permit, but to say when the planning board certification is gonna happen, I mean, like.
We're not the ones, and I think that's outside of our scope too,
What?
a little bit outside of
Yeah,
our
it
scope.
is, the water, yeah.
We're starting to intrude in COs and kind of construction aspects of the project, whereas that's really not our role.
We don't,
That's a
But
building.
there's-
Go ahead.
I was just saying, you know, starting up with paragraph 4 here, the first time we introduced this, section 6.5 pardon me, 7.6.5, which I think we should make one quick edit to, because there's too many uses, too many occurrences of the word shall in there, I think. But what we're stating there is that the, prior to the occupancy permit, he's gonna apply for this certificate of compliance. I don't think we necessarily need to restate.
Right, because you've already stated it in that one.
Right, so paragraph 4 states what they've gotta do before they're gonna get a certificate of occupancy.
That's a global statement.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
And
so
everything that flows from that should either be tied to the.
Yeah, because you've said what you wanted to say in that one.
Okay, well, this is number 4.
So go back to 4, and I think
That's a good point.
the applicant shall, and then.
Write this down, because I'm interested in.
So if you follow, the applicant shall, prior to obtaining an occupancy permit,
Request.
Request.
so scratch that second shall,
Yeah.
okay? That the planning board or its representative certify the project is in compliance with the conditions and terms of this approval. I think that's the only time we need to
That's fine.
condition a requirement on compliance with 7.6.5.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
you're
In
right.
the interim steps that have to do with construction, we can say prior to, the planning process, like getting through the other boards and such as water. I mean,
So with 9, we could just end it at, right before the word prior, right? Prior to planning board certification, end it right after the word commercial water surface, period.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Yeah,
Water, let's say water
Just end it,
service,
yeah.
period.
cross out from prior,
So really, essentially, I don't need to keep saying,
No, you don't.
reiterating the project
No,
compliance.
that's a good point.
Before, it's a global requirement. of
Although,
occupancy.
there are some things, we want the applicant to do before a building permit is issued, rather than,
Yeah.
it's when everything's all completed, so.
Yeah.
and they're kind of common sense. I mean,
Well, I
it's
guess
right.
the-
Yeah, they are common sense.
The compliance of 7.6.5 has to precede the building permit anyway.
It does?
That's-
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
No, the occupancy permit.
No, the OC.
the building.
CO, I meant.
The building, I mean, the occupancy permit,
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah,
right,
that's
so the
it.
building
Right.
permit's gotta come
No,
first.
it's the
Yeah.
CO, that's all.
Yeah, the CO, but, that has to be done before, I mean, Ken would have to receive a confirmation.
No, I know, right, but that's
Right.
different, yeah, so yeah. And Ken will ask for that. Is
Okay,
there- Are
okay.
all the conditions met before he'll
Yeah,
even
so-
consider issuing a CO?
Okay.
And he always calls, and that includes the recording and that sort.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, subject to the changes in, to adding up, before issue of building permit in 5, 6, the edits in, number 8. Did you have the edits? Do I need to go through those again?
Yeah, let's just make sure.
And number 3, you changed to, just simply get rid of Northern and say Essex County Registry of Deeds.
Mhm.
Number 5, viable to be built upon subject to prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit.
Number 4, drop a shell.
Sorry.
Number,
4, you dropped the second shell, sorry.
and applicant also.
Number 5 is a building permit, though. That
Yeah,
is-
what'd you say about applicant, Larry?
Number 5 ends
Drop the word applicant and shall in the third line.
from number 4.
Of course,
It's after
section.
that.
Where is that?
What?
Yeah,
Section 40,
yeah, he's
right?
talking about,
Oh, he's
yeah,
talking
drop
about
this
right
out.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Number 4.
Right. Third line, applicant shall has to be deleted.
Yeah.
Yep. In the third line.
Right.
Well, 9
Okay,
doesn't
number
need 2 lines, he only needs 1 line, he's already got 1 going in there.
Number 5,
Number
9,
is prior to issuance of a
he
building
already
permit.
got 1 line in there, right? He doesn't need 2, he only needs 1.
yeah, that's why we got rid of it. Yeah. Number 5, read that out, Larry.
Just at the end, add prior to issuance of a building permit.
Number 6, likewise.
Same, at the end, add prior to issuance of a building permit.
Mhm.
And number 7,
Number 7, I think after infiltration basin, approved by the planning board prior to issuance of building permit.
yep.
the only thing I would ask there is, I don't know if logistically it matters, but, I mean, do we need to see that before building or before occupancy? Because it may be something they need to put together after they've built the system?
What, maintenance agreement?
Yeah,
No,
okay.
right? Normally you do it along with your planning process, right? The maintenance.
When you draw the plan,
Or
you
you
do
draw
a
it
maintenance
up after.
agreement?
Yeah, I mean, that.
You want it prior to CO or prior to a building permit? There, CO's probably okay.
Yeah.
Because that's when Brent's gonna get, you'll probably have to, the
The only-
Conservation Commission is gonna have to see.
The only
that.
difference is if you have a change in the field of what you're writing your maintenance agreement about, you know, whether it's a
Yeah, why don't we,
Catch basin.
prior to a CO, okay, prior to certificate of occupancy. Yeah, because that's something that the Concom is gonna have to vote, they have to enforce anyways on a yearly basis, right?
Right, yes,
Right.
yeah, annual maintenance.
Yeah, and then, number 8, last sentence, instead of prior, at, and as Cliff said on number 9,
Scratch everything following
That's what you
service.
asked to
yep.
change from 2 to 1.
Poor Kirk. Right. That's why we have a board, and that's why we meet. These are more.
No, I
sensitive.
assumed that we were going to be hammering these out tonight.
That's why we're doing it. Okay.
Because we hadn't really talked about that.
No, that's
Can't just
why.
have a racers car.
Can't do it on, we need to do it in a public process as well, so that's fine. And every other board, I've been, I've done the same thing, where we have to have publicly, All right.
I have another comment. On number 2, which talks about the other jurisdictional authorities, should we include the Raleigh Historic District Commission?
Yeah, no, I was actually gonna mention something about that.
Number 2.
They have binding, they're binding.
Yeah, right.
At the bottom.
And
I have
Are
information.
they just advisory or binding? I don't
In
know.
regards to your phone call, I was gonna say that.
The other boards are binding.
Yeah, that,
Just an update.
Yeah.
Well, I think they are in the historic, in the
I'm just
historic
asking,
district,
they are.
aren't they? You need their approval. with those.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah,
the historic,
right,
okay, do you understand, is that okay that we add that? Because their recommendations are binding in the historic district.
Yeah, that's.
and I was gonna, David, that,
We're
they
not gonna
actually
get to
did,
that.
they did have.
You're gonna add that, so subject to add?
Yeah, and I just wanted to put out, wanted to add.
Well, it also says the approvals as may be required by, so we're not saying what's required, we're just saying, pointing out that if you have to get approved by the district commission, you have to get approved,
Yeah, it could be a pass, yeah.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah, depending, these boards could pass, but we have to put them down there. All right, go ahead.
Well, I would-
Yeah.
I just, well, they got their approval from the historic, they did, didn't they? Like, I thought they
No,
did.
they were looking favorably upon what has happened.
Okay,
Ed Sutherland has been to 3 meetings, I believe, with improvements at each stage. We're waiting for the final drawings to be
okay,
completed. They will take one more look at it,
okay,
but things are going good.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not, based on that, I'm not gonna hold up the vote.
No.
They looked at the building and there were scale problems initially and it didn't look like it fit in the historic district. And
Yeah.
since then, it's been back and forth and with the cooperation.
Is that a correct representation? Ed?
So what kind of building are we talking about now? I mean, just curious. You have a drawing of it? Not that I'm an architect.
Well, we don't know for sure, but it's heading more or less on the front face in this direction, yeah. His last drawing, what happened is a lot of gables were put, a lot of gables in there. And that was based on that. This came before that. His daughter's an architectural person and drew this up. Now it's going to construction documents because he feels comfortable with the direction that we're going in.
Are you the architect for the project?
No. I was a sketcher.
Don't even go there.
I was a pusher in the project.
Don't even go
I
there.
have to eat 500 pancakes.
All right, so can we put this away? I wanna take a vote to move on.
I have another comment, I'm sorry.
Yes, please.
We don't have the latest revision date of the plans, 11/20/14, in the second paragraph on page 2. We just have the original date of the plans. is revised through 11/2014.
2/11/2014. That was on number,
It's in this paragraph up here,
no, that was back here.
page 2.
That was this one.
It's latest revision, right, Chris? 11/2014.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
What's the date?
20.
So, yeah, after August 11/2014.
Hey Kirk,
Yeah.
if you don't mind one more style point. I personally hate it. I'm starting with paragraph, page 3. You say, therefore, in accordance with the zoning bylaws, the site plan approval is hereby granted, subject to the following conditions. And then every numbered paragraph, you say subject to. I think you can scratch the subject to in the enumerated paragraph and just go, because you've already established that it's subject
Start
to.
off with
The modification, the approvals,
Okay,
You don't even need the,
okay.
right.
Okay.
you know, you can just say modification approvals as may, you don't even need the. The is also a word in a way, you could keep it.
But really, that's just the point, just keep it as,
Yeah, that's
scaled down as, you know, no point in being
I'll
overly
get the
wordy.
style down better.
English class.
You have a class in this stuff? It's good.
No, it's
You
edited.
read it over and over.
But it's only where it starts out subject to, not necessarily like 3 and 4. You don't
Right.
change that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, can I also, since we talked about the historic commission, do we need to put a condition that actually references their decision and
No.
you don't want to?
I was thinking a condition that,
They are covered in effect, but they can't get a building permit without themselves.
I know, but I'm just,
As long as
comments
we-
submitted, do you usually see, like, you know, comments submitted in any other? Because there are some comments yet to be noted as part of this as part of the file. And so, on number 4, it talks about what has been submitted so far, but we're still waiting on the Historic Commission's final comments. But we're covering that and subject to those approvals by those particular boards, but
You want
what
to
I'm
say,
saying, there may be a set of plans that become part of the file, do we need to know?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because architectural compatibility is one of the approval criteria, having a condition that references, since it's being deferred to the.
You know, just in the course of our meetings, we may, take a vote just to certify that we've taken the Historical Commission's plans and we certify those as well,
Okay.
so.
And actually, another question is that the last, I'm gonna submit to Mass DOT with the 20-foot radius on the south side. So that'll have another revision date on it. I'm not sure how that's handled. Is that just,
Yeah, because Cliff put in
there's a clause for that, number 1?
Cliff put that in.
But depending on what they approve, there'll be another revision date.
Larry, you sometimes put like provision in like number 4 or something, and additional plans as may
be submitted from time to
be
time.
submitted. I just want to make sure we note that the file may include approvals as they come in.
Yeah.
Because that's congruent, I mean, that's consistent with subject to,
Mhm.
Well, maybe you need to add that.
I just want to say
Yeah.
that, we're noting all the plans that the planning board has considered in the course of the public hearing process.
So if we were to add another bullet that said something, such other comments as may be,
Well, why don't you modify 10? Within the jurisdiction of the planning board are others with jurisdiction, number 10. And then they have to come back and submit in writing revised plans or so forth.
Yeah.
Would that be a place that we could cover it? Any proposed
Yeah.
modification or deviation?
It's already covered.
So,
It's already there.
Well, it just says planning board, and if you just add our other authorities with jurisdiction.
Okay, well, the authorities of jurisdiction, okay. That's in the first sentence. Do you see that? Chris, is that okay?
yeah, I think,
That's just to cover that, we just want to make sure that we're encompassing, you're substantially there, and I feel comfortable that we're basically, in terms of the site plan review process and how it impacts the criteria, we're okay?
Yes.
It's if there are architectural elements that deal with the building inspector. Then I could take a vote, but the building inspector kind of passing jurisdiction to the building inspector. But the site plan, I think we're there in terms of the plan, your plan. Is that okay? I mean, DOT, if they approve it, are you willing to bid out? Is that,
Yeah, I'd rather.
are we agreed on
I'd rather
that?
have the radius.
Okay. And that's really it. That may, chances are they may stick to their guns, but,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll submit it with a 20-foot and
Okay.
see. Yeah.
All right, well, that was a useful process. Are you comfortable with,
I just wanted to make sure, point out, number 10 was kind of a new, with the, it gives,
yeah, so I don't need to, that's fine.
okay.
Okay.
There it is.
I think we're just covering something, yeah, then that's just covering those changes that may happen in the future,
Yeah.
whether we need to take them up and cause a new public hearing to be held, all right? And what we've run into in the past, these minor and major modifications. But that's, let's not put the cart before the horse. But it is covered in the COV. All right. I know it's a lot of changes, but most of them are semantics and consistency with previous COVs that we've done. And we have to recognize that, you know, this is really Kirk's first.
Well, there are enough so that it should be typed over.
Oh, no, I wanted that anyway.
No, I know.
was gonna ask.
Now you definitely should type it
It
over.
wasn't recorded like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
You guys are.
Take a vote subject to those changes, do you trust me to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I move we approve the site plan,
To sign it
subject
based
to
on-
the changes that were discussed.
Is that?
Second.
Are there any substantial, well, okay, any more discussion by the, pushback, feedback? I want to give you guys your, because this
No,
impacts,
I think everything's agreeable.
because forever hold your peace.
Yeah, no, we just saw this, this minute.
Well, no, but you can,
No,
pretty
I
much
think it's all-
consistent
it's
with what
fine.
we've been doing all along.
Yes.
There's no,
I
you're not blindsided there
I don't
anywhere.
see anything.
Yeah,
You're his representative, you're supposed to catch it.
Yeah, I'm good with everything, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that was, who made the motion?
I
Craig
second.
Pierce, and second by David Jacob.
Yeah.
You have that?
Yeah.
Thanks, that was useful. I think we have a better document.
Good luck with it.
Thank you, guys.
Keep working hard.
It's,
It's been a good process.
Look at that.
I think you get a better building,
Yeah.
better site.
All right, thanks for
It's
everything.
gonna be an improvement on the street right there.
This one's better than.
28.
I don't even know that. All right, wait a minute.
Are you sure?
All right, so we have,
Hold it, if I have any questions.
something that Larry can,
Okay.
You're all set.
you know, that's unanimous.
All right, okay.
I will sign, when Kirk makes those changes, I'll come to the office and I will sign a document that, you know, to go to the clerk.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try to make them tomorrow and I don't. I
Tomorrow
don't
is
know-
Thursday. Well, if he gets it done by tomorrow, I can probably get it signed by tomorrow.
It might be good to just, Monday, I mean, if,
It's 25 days.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Monday,
Thank
then.
you.
Let's shoot for Monday, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
That's good. All right, Larry, do you have any,
later.
if you look in your packets, this is an extension of the discussion that,
What are we looking for?
to make sure that, when it came to our attention about these, that the builder, well, Larry knows basically what started with this double wide configurations on a number of these driveways.
You want to deal with the second continued public?
Oh, that's right, thanks. Have a vote to continue. We have to look at a date on that. At 8 o'clock, there was a continuation of the public hearing for site plan review for 56 Newburyport Turnpike.
I make a
Mark
motion.
Savory, property owner, wait. Can I have a motion to continue it?
Make a motion
We need to make a
continue.
date, Kirk, input.
yeah,
We don't need to go through the, in your packets also, you'll see the results of a meeting that transpired between Kirk, Larry Graham, building inspector?
yeah, Yeah, oh, no,
Building-
the building inspector wasn't, it was just me and Larry.
Larry
Thomas
and,
Ryder.
Liz Dupre,
No.
the applicant's.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, look,
Yeah, Liz wasn't there either.
Liz, well,
was not.
She wasn't actually, it was just Thomas Ryder.
oh,
He
Thomas
was-
Ryder. But anyways, they trying to make progress on some of these issues so that they can go back in the planning process and address them and come back to us when they're ready.
All right.
It should be,
And some of the, and Kirk wrote up a summary and some,
yeah, I put the
an info
summary
sheet
out.
on that meeting. All
Date,
right? So,
we need a date. for the
Yeah, the
continuation.
one thing that they were wanting to make sure is that, is to have, to know when the next date is, but also to know when a due date was for the revisions, so that they'd have enough time to get them in. Because they still haven't finished the revision, so they probably need a couple more weeks, to get the revisions.
well,
And then after that,
Kirk, what do we have before us? When?
well, I mean, really,
Actually, well, before I'm gonna look at this thing here.
because I was also like,
You were talking about trying to get on more of a regular, is that okay if we get, we can at least set one Wednesday a month, that's a regular meeting? And if things pick up in the town, then we'll meet the second time?
Yeah.
Gives a little more regularity for your schedule?
yeah, and I was kind of showing a preference, if possible, for the second week of each month, or the second Wednesday of every month. And then if we had to do if we had to do a second meeting,
It'd be the fourth one.
yeah, it could be the fourth, yeah, I mean, it would be,
I can't make the 18th, so that's the third.
yeah, you can't make the third, so.
I'm at a planning board meeting in
I may or may not be back in time for Wednesday the 11th, but if not, everybody should be here enough for a quorum and Cliff can take it. On the 11th, is that all right?
Right.
Yeah, fine.
Is that okay?
I make a motion that we
11th?
I may,
11th.
Okay.
I make a motion that we continue the meeting,
Second.
11th of February.
11th of February.
Second by Cliff. All in favor?
Aye.
Favor.
All right, I mean, you can just set the meeting and we'll continue it, and if they're ready, they're ready, if they're not, they're not.
Okay,
And then we'll be going on to the 25th, all right?
yeah,
Is that all right?
yeah.
is
yeah,
that the
perfect.
Savory's thing you're talking about?
Yes.
Is the boys sitting room a walkthrough over there?
Yeah, I mean, we'll set that based on what we see in front of us, all right?
Okay.
Should we
I don't think we
really
need to do it
talk,
before the 11th. Let's wait till we.
No, I'm just wondering if it's gonna be done, that's all.
Yeah.
Wait till spring if we can.
Just that idea for the board.
Friday.
All right, so that piece of business out of the way, that's the 11th at 7:30.
Every time I
Yeah,
go.
11th at 7.
The 11th at 7:30. I want to move on and address the fact that, Larry, you want to give a little background on what we're voting on here in Wild Pastures? Or how it relates to, go ahead, the as-bills and,
Oh, I'm sorry, I just, back on the 56 Newburyport Turnpike, just the one thing that came out of that meeting that's actually important was that Larry had talked to Thomas Ryder about the potential of reorientation of the building itself.
yeah, I saw that, but I didn't want to bring it up.
Oh,
We continued the hearing,
okay,
okay?
They'll-
People can read the info, I mean,
okay,
I think that was that information is in the packet,
okay,
but I don't want to discuss it publicly
okay,
and make an opinion, because otherwise people will state opinions, and I don't want to do that.
okay,
Because we're not, it's not,
Next,
it's an info thing.
yeah, yeah. that's
I
fine.
think that's a very valuable process, so please read that. And if you guys can think about any other stuff, you can email Kirk, or just read that info that came out of that meeting. And is that there in the summary?
Yeah.
The reorientation?
It's this
It's
way.
right, yeah.
And there were some other comments. I thought it was a good one, especially from a visual standpoint,
Yeah, yeah,
and also from a stormwater standpoint.
yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, I want to, Larry, do you have any comments on why we're voting on all these properties here?
No, I didn't write this minor modification. Kirk did, so I guess he can comment on that. I would only say it with regards to that document, I would reference not the single file width or the double wide configure. I'd like to say the single driveway width and double driveway width,
Okay.
double wide,
Okay.
not file.
Yeah.
And The plans were all approved, the plans that the board approved were all for single wide driveways coming off of the curb. And many of them, as Kirk has listed here, were built with double wide drives coming off the curb. And for the most part, I think the people out there are happy with that. They want to keep them. We didn't want to go back to the single wide drives. There's a few
Well,
that
they
are
purchased the
still
properties with it,
single
so it
wide.
didn't hold up a purchase, so.
Yeah, and so that's what this is about. And I have no issue with it. I don't think anybody has any issue with it.
And you just made a change, you're gonna have to retype that too, right?
Yeah.
I'll sign it. And this is a document that says, we're gonna vote for approval of a minor modification according with MGL Chapter 41, Section 81W to the Wild Pastures Estates definitive subdivision plan. Proposed modification consists of an increase in the driveway curb cut width from the single wide,
Driveway width.
what?
Driveway width.
Driveway width to a double wide
Driveway.
driveway width for properties located at the following addresses. Are all the addresses incorporated there, Larry?
I haven't checked them.
Yeah, I got those out in the field, so
Okay,
I went by
thanks.
each one.
Okay, so you're confident in that?
Yeah.
This approval stipulates that the conditions of approval specified in planning board certificate of vote memo dated February 24, 2005, Wild Pastures Estates definitive subdivision plan and the planning board's certificate of vote dated February 24, special permit approval shall otherwise continue to remain in full effect. Again, this kind of basically tries to close the circle of, in the file, in terms of putting together a packet for approval by the Board of Selectmen to get this on the warrant for street approval. This all leads up to the street approval that we're trying to get on the warrant. You know, some house cleaning. And so, but I think it's important that we, in the minutes, we have a vote to make sure that people are on board. And that someone doesn't bring it up later and say, hey, you know, why do the plans a little bit different than how they were built? Again, this also suffices to maybe save the applicant a ton of money
I'm sure it does.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah.
for something that's not necessarily the applicant's
I mean, all these
fault.
driveways that were approved as single width, they all front as double wide garage, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the most part,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
so
good point, yeah.
And they're not lengthy driveways, so
couldn't,
if it was a single, to widen out,
The
it
flare
would
would've
be
been
kind of
more.
awkward to
Yeah, right.
to do that, so.
So, I wonder, well, if he knew when he got this approval, whether he'd be coming back for this, or we were thinking we wouldn't notice it, or,
I think it was a particular builder, not the developer.
The developer had a hand in a
Oh, he
lot
did?
of the building, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know what was in it, man.
Now, that's why this is a current regime here, and that's why we have a planner, and
right.
it will be caught and dealt with by the board prior to.
It's a little bit of a gray area there, because although the plan was approved with single wide drives, what we really are looking at is right-of-way line to right-of-way line, and we're not looking at whether they build a 30 by 40 house or a 20 by 60 house, and two-car garages or, 1.5.
Yeah, remember, because that's not really our purview.
We're sure, right, we don't
We're
look at
looking at-
plans, we look at the
No, we're looking at
sites.
an envelope,
Right,
you know.
So
and-
it's a little bit of a gray area, because, the curb cut is still within the right-of-way, but, as soon as you get past 10 feet past it, you're into somebody else's
probably.
Whereas in some of these other high density, in some of these OSRDs, we get a little bit more into.
Well, this
We
seems
got
like
into
there's
the
some analogy here
architecture.
to the people down at Rowley Common that wanted to open up a few more of the garages to face the street to get more houses in there. Remember, and you said you had that conversation, you went round and
Yeah,
round at the first,
because that was
the
the
first developer.
With a
That's what I
multifamily
was bringing
development,
up.
Yeah.
with a
It's a
multifamily
different-
development, we focus more on the architecture.
Right,
Here, single family, we didn't even see
Right.
footprints of the houses,
No.
right? I mean, they
No,
weren't-
you didn't see elevation, you didn't know what they were gonna be clad with, or
Yeah, right, we didn't know
what the
anything.
pitches of roofs were,
The
or
same thing we
anything.
do with Form As, you know.
right, so we really didn't
Whereas we worked,
But it wasn't
We worked a very-
OSRD?
Yeah,
yeah, we worked a long
a
time.
lot of open space.
We worked a long time on the multifamily architecture, and because of the density of it, but maybe it's an interesting thing you bring up, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
But
we should-
our rules,
I guess when we look at subdivisions down the road, we have to start thinking
but
about.
our rules and regs,
In a conventional subdivision, you never look at the houses or architecture or anything like that. You have no information. I think
But if
that's,
somebody is asking for something, it could be a
it'd be
condition
sold on spec, you know?
to look at that and set
Yeah.
some standards.
I don't know if you can look at that under the subdivision control law.
No, okay.
But we have certain zones in the town,
But-
such as the center district and the historic district. where we have-
I mean, we don't want to discourage people from doing OSIDs, by imposing onerous, technical review, architectural review requirements, when we wouldn't do that for a conventional subdivision, in my opinion, I mean, we just.
But they,
It's a
but
lot.
they,
Multifamily is
depends
different.
on the benefit that they're asking for
Yeah.
to get.
Well,
Yeah, well, I
Well,
don't know, I
that's-
think that could force, persuade a lot of people to, I don't want to do this, but,
no, well, that's really not, that's not, I don't know of any town that's on
Yeah.
the board that does that.
no,
Mhm.
probably not, in terms of single family.
They
Just
talk about parking, town character, traffic, stormwater, all these other
Yeah.
kind of site conditions.
I mean, I
and
understand the
public safety,
difference in the
but-
density when
Yeah.
we're doing townhouses and
Right,
things like that.
Right.
But where this was an OSRD, the setbacks weren't in place, and so for these garages to be, it just seems like something we should, next time we face it, we keep it in mind, because a single wide curb cut isn't gonna get you into many of these buildings.
Yeah,
If
right.
it has to be closer to the street, then.
Well, look, the same thing happened on Hillside.
Mhm.
You look on Hillside, some of those were built, we just.
Weren't they all Form As?
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
But they took, because they were Form A's people, and they were close to the road because of septic systems,
Yeah.
and because of the open space that was behind, they took it upon themselves to do just a straight in, you see, from, isn't it out there wide there, and those two-car garages?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a similar, they're really close to the road, right?
Right.
20, yeah. Less than 50 feet, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
We've kind of gotten into the plans drawing houses and driveways and things because of stormwater. It used to be, many years ago, where there wasn't a house drawn on a definitive subdivision plan. There wasn't a site plan for a definitive subdivision.
Just the
plan.
road.
You just have the road.
And lots.
And lots.
The road,
This is lot
utilities,
20,
and-
and it's a 3.2 acre lot.
Right.
21 is
And
a
you could
different-
do anything within
Road,
that lot,
utilities, and
subject to
drainage,
zoning.
now we take into account drainage
But-
on the site itself.
So what you're saying, Larry,
Impervious surface, that sort of.
what you're saying is that because of
It's true.
the houses and the drainage off the houses and the driveways, that there should be more consideration for that in the calculations.
And that's why we now put houses and driveways on the plan to say, okay, well, we're gonna take into account 600 square feet of roof area for this house.
They're
and
included in the
200
drainage
square
codes.
feet of
Yeah.
driveway area,
Okay.
put that in the calculations. And the reason we're doing that is because we think the house's footprint, the driveway's gonna look,
I don't
Pretty much like
think we've seen that yet, have we?
oh yeah, I mean, that's,
On a subdivision plan?
yeah, that's how the drainage calculations are done. By taking existing conditions of woods and then changing it to a lawn and a house and a driveway.
No, it makes
But the
sense.
state-
It comes into
Right.
whatever watershed it comes into.
Right.
But now the state has passed laws to ease up a little bit on stormwater. You see the new, not law, but
Well,
the
I
new
see it's
advisory, you
stormwater
see the thing that
regulations.
came out in December?
Yeah, I don't see that it changed that
It
much.
doesn't change, but I think we used to think about catchment and maybe piping, and now we're getting more into like natural
Yeah.
infiltration again, Not so much.
Low
catchment.
impact development.
Yeah, not so much catchment, like the bank did.
Gotcha.
The banks worked out well.
Thanks worked great.
All right, we take a vote on this, please. Take a motion. To
I
approve
move
this,
that we approve the minor modification for the Wild Pasture Estates.
35, 41, 45, 49, 6, 11, 15, 17, and the others, 21 Arrowhead, and then 25 through 25, 27, 29, 31, 33, 35, 37 Oak Ledge Circle.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That takes care of that. And then, second thing, Kirk, what do you have?
And the second thing
Was a memorandum of agreement.
for 45.
Yeah, we're going around and around on that.
This-
People read, go ahead.
This we may need to hold off on until, I sent it to the
To Judy?
Brontes, I haven't heard back, so. if-
All right, we'll table that till the next meeting,
you
because you have to hear back from them.
know, Yeah.
Just for the record, we did get some feedback. Remember, we had a petition from some townspeople. The residents there wanted to have us look into reducing the number of signs, especially what near the cul-de-sac too, and the circle.
All over.
All over, right? I just want to read December 31st, a Wednesday, Chief Barker from the Raleigh Police Department wrote back to Kirk. Notwithstanding my other comments about the legal issues involved in posting speed limits, I would like to address the concerns of the residents from a public safety aspect. I've driven through the neighborhood and viewed the signs in question. I found myself in agreement with the residents that the posted speed limit signs are too high for the area. A more appropriate speed for the cul-de-sacs is 15 miles per hour, and the rest of the development would be better suited to 20 miles per hour. I also feel that Arrowhead has more speed signage than necessary, given the fact that the signs are more likely of an advisory nature than a true regulation. I think one strategically placed sign near the entrance of each cul-de-sac would be sufficient. Robert R. Barker, Chief of Police.
Doesn't require any action on our part, does it?
Well, I have looked into what the process would be in terms of the, I guess we went through this with the original subdivision. There's an engineering study, traffic study, that actually has to be done per state law. And then that has to be approved by the Registry of Motor Vehicles and then also by Mass Highways. I mean, for us to do
To
this.
change the speed?
To change the speed limit and the speed limit signs, we'd have to go back through that. Somebody'd have to do another traffic study that came up with that result and agreed with this in order, and then it would have to be approved by Mass Highway and the DMV before it would be, the speed limits would be enforced.
How was the speed limit set in the
that?
first
Yeah, I was
instance?
just gonna ask that.
I'm sorry?
How was the speed limit set in the first instance?
It was the same way. There was a
There was a traffic study from the Department of
There was a
Transportation.
traffic study, but was it approved by Mass Highway and the DMV?
I
Probably
yeah,
not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
So the speed limits out there may not actually be.
Yeah, and I think that's why, didn't the chief say, aside from
Advisory and
from the-
non-regulatory.
from the legality or the authority to, to actually enforce them?
Is
The board,
Here, Steve.
the planning board and the engineer and myself reviewed the plans and made the determination of what we thought the speed limit should be. And they went onto the plan, and the developer bought and installed those signs.
Yeah.
In accordance with the plan. Now, I don't think necessarily to change that you'd have to go back through the study, but to make it legally binding or for the police department to have the authority to actually enforce them, you would have to do that. To legally enforce what's out there, you probably have to do it.
And then,
So,
But Kirk told me about this. It came up obviously after the signs had been erected, because that's when the people realized they hadn't looked at the approved plans. They said, geez, now we got signs on both sides of the streets that say, 25 miles an hour, whatever. And so then they got together and wrote the letter objecting to it. And my recommendation was, I've been implementing the approved plans from binder, curb, signage, everything else, as you know. I don't want to go back to Jim Georgialakis and say, now that you've bought all these signs and erected them in accordance with the approved plan, we want to change them now.
Well, I, as chairman, am
I don't-
willing to recommend to the board that we don't take any action on this. So, based
Well,
on-
my suggestion was, and I think Kirk talked to Pat Snow about this in the highway department, was after the street's accepted, if he wants to do it,
Well,
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I said, that that's why I'm recommending
Yeah.
the board at this time, at this meeting,
Yeah.
That's
should not
fine.
take any action till we, I think the first steps are to get the street accepted. And if the residents want to work through the appropriate legal process,
Yeah, that's what the process I just
then,
mentioned.
right,
was
then they
I-
can do that. I mean,
what
that's
they
not
would-
really
they would
our,
have to
Couldn't agree with
sponsor
it more.
is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, could we make an exception though in terms of the number of signs? I mean, that's something I think that's within our authority to say that certain signs should be removed or can be removed. I mean, we don't need, I mean, I don't think, since.
I don't know if that has to be done right now.
Well, what-
Well, I don't know. if it has
What
to
did the
be
chief
done.
say? Just put one at the entrance and that's it, right? Is that what the chief said?
I wonder if we could just ask George to, if he would mind,
Well, that's,
you know.
then we have to take, that's another memo, and we have to say where and where, then it's another minor
And
modification.
The as-bills are being produced, right, it's gonna be shown on the as-bills as it is.
Then we're doing another minor modification like this at the next meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, the chief
I'm
wrote
not
it out.
I'm not precluding that, I think down the road, we'll probably get some adjustments on this, I think it's a good idea, I'm not saying it's not.
Based on
Well,
what
he said
highway,
it's
if they want to like
only one on the
reduce the
entrance.
number of signs, they
DOT
might be able to
says
do
it's
that more
I mean, I
informally
think it's kind of
rather-
arbitrary.
as opposed to
First,
changing
in
the
fact,
speed
you know,
limit.
think,
and.
Yeah,
Right, kind of
all
based on the
signs.
process, like
That
you said,
speed
it was
limit
not
is set by that
necessarily.
process, the number of
change the
signs
speed
is
limit of sign.
probably
They
easier.
At that
for
time,
the
it was an
highway
advisory, it didn't go through the
to-
DMV.
No,
I didn't.
Not
Well,
law.
the highway department will do it at some expense.
What's it called?
They can't do that now until the road's accepted.
Yeah, exactly,
But,
yeah.
the developer could
Public safety
agree to
discussion.
remove
Yeah.
signs.
discretion over.
The good thing about the
speed
highway
limits.
department is if they take
They
a
don't.
25 off and put a 20 on, they
Yeah,
take
they
the
don't
25,
mind.
stick it in the garage and use it.
You do,
somewhere.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're the developers.
Right.
Can we, please, you do understand what was after,
So,
after the street was accepted in the highway department?
let's do it.
Because of the process that was initiated, you know, it's like some other parts of the town, but you know, the police, and they'll regulate in these small developments, especially since this road could potentially be a pass-through, I'm sure there'll be some presence there. You know, where some cul-de-sacs are just, are cul-de-sacs, like Harrison Circle or something.
I don't recall any signs up over there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, these are where people can't pass through, so they don't tend to go speeding. They don't have really a reason to speed, they're just going home, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that would be true for the two cul-de-sacs too.
It would be,
Just
yes.
Wild Pasture. would be-
But I think that's like any road in town, once it's accepted, even my own street, I mean, when people are abusing the rural, you know, like our street, you know, some rural streets have speed limits of 40, as you know. And then when people petition to have them lowered because of children or other narrowness of the
Yeah.
street or whatever, then the town is very open and they do it, you know?
But your street and my street is 35 miles an hour.
Right, but because it's so windy and narrow. But it's, and I think the town, the police do a good job, you know, on the streets. When they're, I think they respond to complaints of speeding in areas, they'll come and do greater enforcement. You know? And they're gonna have to do it here. Yes, need be. But I agree with Cliff, I mean, if it looks ridiculous, then they should be open to remove it.
Well, like I had mentioned before, I mean, it's a small street. I mean, if you live there, I live there, and your kids running down the street, you know what you're doing, say, hey, tell your kid to slow down.
But in terms of the as-bills, I mean, I think these are the things that have to be caught at an earlier time. They really do. You know, they're petitioning, and I don't blame them now that they're actually finally see the light. Furthermore, it'd be difficult to take them out now with the ground's frozen.
Oh, that's true. Well, yeah,
You'd
I
be
think-
cutting them off.
Take the sign out down and leave the post.
I think the priority should be to get the road accepted, so, you know, I wouldn't want to.
All right, is that okay?
It's
All right,
okay.
because we're getting to the
Fine
point.
by me.
We want to get it accepted.
Next.
Keep it on schedule. It's minutes.
Was there a vote on that, or?
Well, I don't think we need a vote.
Okay.
Kurt, I have one other comment on
Sure.
Wild Pastures. I wrote a letter back November 19th summarizing what improvements have been completed,
Yeah.
Oh, you did a status letter, right?
what changes happened, and what remaining work. And they've done some other work out there, and I haven't checked it, such as the signs, the stop signs, the street signs.
Yeah.
George office, whatever his name
Mr.
is.
Lockett.
Yeah, he emailed me, Jim, I mean, he emailed me Monday and asked me to go out and take a look at some of the final stuff that he's done. Guardrail has been fixed, and I haven't done that yet. But that's part of the things that need to be done, which I'll summarize to you. What my question was, in that letter, the changes, some of them were approved by vote, September 17th, September 17th, September 17th. One of them was done by a minor modification way back in 2013, but there was a couple of field changes. I memorialized them. Has the board actually accepted these field changes, which were accepted by Cliff Pearson, the town planner at the site?
Yeah,
Did we?
well, we
was
did
there
have it was presented to the board like a couple of meetings ago.
Is it in the minutes? I guess if it's in the minutes, that would be satisfactory.
Well, yeah, it is in the minutes, but I don't know if we voted on, did we vote on those
I don't think there was
changes?
any vote.
I
I
don't
mean, I
think
think
we
it was
voted.
just a notification, because we had actually made the decision in the field. We
Right.
had already made the correction, but it was just more of a report to the board,
Okay.
rather than an actual.
You talking about the one with the trail?
One was at the intersection of changing the crosswalks, and the other was eliminating that sidewalk in front of Lot 2 as
That
you
was the trail,
usually
yeah, that
come
was
in.
the one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
We brought those up in the meeting.
We
Yeah,
probably, we probably should vote on those, I would think, but,
field correction, or field correction?
They're gonna show us,
as a board, rather than just a board member and the town planner, because
Is
that
it too
doesn't
late to vote on them
constitute.
the 11th? What did Debbie say?
Um,
Do you want to vote on, do you want to make a motion in that regard, because you were there, Cliff, now?
or are they gonna show them on a plan at some point?
They're gonna show up on the as-built plan,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're just minor field changes, we talked about it.
So if we
Just
voted
at
on
the
the
next meeting.
One
we
was
vote on the
why don't we
plan?
do it the next, why doesn't Kirk draft a modification decision?
We could do it on the 11th,
One for the driveways, and we'll just sign it down, vote it down.
and then pass it on, okay. That will give Larry a
Just
chance
tie
to
up
do
tie
your
up the
final.
loose ends.
Okay, we'll tie up
Good
loose ends.
point,
in.
Larry.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
again.
I mean,
I
Jim
was-
Georgialakis has been real fussy about this. He doesn't want to get, hung up on these things too. I don't blame him. I think he's
And we don't have
crossing his
the
T's,
as-built
dotting
Been
his
there a long
I's.
time.
We're supposed to be getting like 12 copies of as-built at some point, right?
Yeah, we were supposed to get them this week, so hopefully they'll.
All right, write something up for the 11th, then, right? And Larry, you get in touch with Kirk if there are any others?
Yeah.
Because I just want to make sure we catch them all, all right? And because that becomes part of the file. And it also allows the selectmen to be more comfortable that they're actually voting on the as-bills that the planning board is certified. Which we agree with. I think it's a better process. Sometimes in the past, we catch these too late.
Yes.
All right, and we get complaints from residents. Back to the agenda here.
Minutes?
Oh, no, I thought we were gonna do a 111 Newbury Port Turnpike.
What?
What do you mean doing it?
Oh, that was gonna be the next item, the illuminated sign permit.
No. What? What are we doing? Setting a hearing? No, you're gonna tell him he has to apply, he's gonna have to advertise.
Okay.
That's it.
Are we gonna, oh, okay,
We don't need a vote on that.
okay. Well, I wouldn't say it was, I just did, I didn't know.
What are we doing? We can't set it has to be advertised in a public hearing, all right?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
Next?
that's the bottom line. All right, the minutes I have. And as soon as he can do it, then we'll get it in and we'll get him on the agenda. I think
Okay.
he may be able to get on the 11th now that we're not meeting for a few weeks, if he gets it in by Monday.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Oh, I do want to take a vote on, for this, he doesn't have to, just to waive the application fee. Because he already did an application fee for sign, it's just a different
I
sign.
make a motion that we waive the application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Oh, and what about, for the public hearing, what about the legal ad?
No, he's paying for that.
Okay, okay.
I said
There was no
applica-
lie for me on
I
that.
said
one.
application fee and,
You,
There was no lie for me on that one.
okay,
What?
so
I never went near from the beginning, I'm not gonna go near it now.
what's that?
What?
For the sign, for artistic.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So you abstain?
This was actually to make him, that saying that the applicant needs to actually go through the public hearing process for the.
Well, I'm just saying I don't want no part of it.
All right, so that's just an abstention by Steve.
And David, you.
I made the motion.
You seconded.
Right.
Right, okay.
It's just, you don't want to repeat, it's already 1,250.
I understand, but you know,
The minutes, there were a few changes. Anybody else have? I have a
I
couple.
wasn't here, so.
Yes, I have a couple.
Let me pull them out first.
On
Thank you.
the third, I think it's the third page, pages are numbered.
Kurt, number these pages, please. You're killing me.
Under-
I wish it was the default of the program to do that, because like, that's the last thing I think about is putting it.
Which is the A and R request for property at 204 Long Hill Road, on the third page. If you look at the last sentence of the second paragraph, where it says Baker states that he took numerous pictures of the site and that he would see anything that isn't already in the photos. I think it should, he would
No.
not see anything.
All right, that's one of, you got one of mine. It's okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's a good point, yeah.
Okay, well,
you probably have the other ones too.
and the next page, the discussion under 124 Havel Street, the cell phone issue. The second paragraph, it's talking about modifying the existing array by add 3 additional antennas, so adding 3 additional antennas. I thought in the next item, minor modification to the Wild Pasture Estates plan. The first sentence, I actually think colon would be nice. Baker introduces the list of properties, colon, or you could put a dash or something like that.
Okay.
And then then just continue the way you have it.
No, 4 properties in Wild Pasture Lane, Cole.
No,
Oh,
list of properties, colon.
oh, that's right, colon.
4 properties on Wild
Wow.
Pasture Lane, 7 lots on Oak Ridge,
Right.
3 French hens.
Settled down.
Felt like I was gonna start singing.
Staying in the Christmas spirit.
Right. You get those, Kurt?
Yes.
I think in the next to last item about what we were just talking about, the speed limits on Wild Pasture Lane, I think it needs a little more information. The first sentence on that last paragraph says, Graham recommends that the board refer the resident's request to the police department for an opinion. And I think maybe we could add that since there was a question as to whether a reduced speed limit would be enforceable,
Not an opinion, for their input.
for input.
Did I recommend that?
Yeah, you did.
Where's this at?
Yeah, I remember you recommending
So last page.
Oh.
it. Last page, top of the last page.
Oh,
We're not asking anybody for it, this is not like legal
I mean, I
opinion.
thought,
Just a comment.
I thought you did recommend that, Larry, and then you made the point that they might, that the lower, if we lowered the speed limits, it might not be enforceable. And
yeah, I thought that was.
that's why we were sending it, asking the police officer.
Instead of opinion, put comment.
And I didn't say any more about them being installed based on the approved plan like I did today.
Oh, no, I think you did.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
wait. Request to the police department for an opinion. That's fine, just leave it, that's fine.
I mean, since this whole thing came up, I've been very, direct about it's not the right time.
Yeah.
Well,
This
that's
time
fine.
is not right.
Well, that's what I said, you're thinking, I'm not
Oh,
gonna allow a vote as chairman, so, unless, I guess I could,
No, I
it could be overruled, but that was my recommendation.
I agree though, I mean, let's get the street approved.
Right, any
Let the
other
highway
split?
department
'Cause I
bring out
have-
a
I
notice
have a
on if they
couple.
want to.
Kirk, anybody else have before I have mine? First page, second to last bullet. Bryant notes that the applicant has addressed the fire department issues to the satisfaction of the fire chief, James Broderick, had worked out their issues to the, I don't know what the hell, what's that mean?
Yeah, let's see, what did I mean? I think I meant to actually mark out that last part.
So have worked out their issues too, though, so end it.
Yeah, I think I.
End
actually
it after
was an
Broderick,
insert.
all right?
Yeah, I think I was intending to like,
End that thought.
yeah.
Is that
I mean, I
okay?
think I intended.
Is that okay? Just get rid of that, all right?
Yeah, right, fine.
Um,
Right, I missed that one.
then go to, I've already took care of that. Do you want to mention on the first paragraph on the second to last page, I don't know what page it is, 4 or 5, I don't know. Clip with the 3 new antennas, we put that. But then Brian states, this is another request for the board to evaluate if the proposal is exempt from formal site plan review process from well, it doesn't matter. You can leave it that way, it's a little awkward. To make improvements which do not alter tower dimensions or expand the ground level base station. Do you want to refer to the state statute, please?
Actually, cite
The federal
yeah,
statute.
the federal.
Federal.
Yeah, I'll do that, yeah.
In parentheses or something, because anybody reading this go, what's he talking
Yeah,
about?
right. I mean, there's a reason we're waiving.
Right, we just
waiving
don't, it's not
it.
willy-nilly, it's federal, so, Baker, and then, third paragraph, Baker notes it's a structure issue rather than a site plan issue since no expansion,
It's a structural issue.
no expansion, what did I say, of base station or increase in height is proposed. Because expansion is kind of just a nebulous, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, aren't those the two major issues?
No expansion of footprint or height.
Yeah, if you expand the base station, base structures,
Oh, probably what I would have meant
Increase
to
in
say is no expansion in the physical dimensions. That's normally.
But but it's both of the tower and the base.
What's the
Yeah.
height of the tower, and is it the
And-
size of the base?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
If
but-
you increase the base structures, they have to go through site plan approval.
I think the way I've normally said is the physical dimensions of the tower height and the base
Yeah,
station.
so just put a little more detail there, please.
Yeah.
And then down the last paragraph, under minor modification,
Mhm.
I don't like, Brian asked if they, who's the they? Put planning board.
Where is that? I'm sorry?
If the second sentence,
Oh, okay.
Brian asked if the planning board will vote on this. You don't use they, I mean, they could mean anyone. That's it. All right. Do you have anything to sign for, I vote on the minutes, please?
I move that we approve the minutes from December 17th meeting.
Second.
Second by Steve, motion by Chris Stoughton, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That's good. Do you have anything to sign for?
Yeah, actually.
Or do you have other business you want to bring up?
Let's see, I've got some invoices.
Pass them around.
And then I got I actually went and bought stamps, a new packet of stamps, so I have that received. And a couple of invoices from you.
Thank you for the donation.
You guys are funny.
You gotta get back, you know.
What's that?
You gotta get back.
Yeah.
Get what?
Get it back.
Oh, get back. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I like doing that, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
And you can payroll sign?
Oh, that would be next week.
Can I see your pen?
Comes down to my house on that.
What?
And I probably should make a update on Dexter Drive. We got the as-built, and I routed those out for final approval. I don't know if we wanna start to go
You
down.
familiar with Dexter, what, Hawksworth?
Yeah, Hawksworth
Off of
Estate.
Central Street there?
Without-
four houses, yeah.
Oh, what about,
It's Central Street, Dexter Drive, and those four houses in Hawksworth Estate, whatever it's called Estates, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Hawksworth Estates.
Yeah, Hawksworth Estates.
They're also, it's four big houses there, and
oh,
they're
really?
looking to try to finally get potentially approved as well, right?
Yeah.
And it was just pending really pretty much the as-built,
Yeah,
so.
so I'm trying to get a final approval. You've already looked at the as-built, right? So the,
And just for
So,
some,
yeah, and the street acceptance plan, too.
yeah, and so I forwarded to like the fire department. Well, actually, fire department already came back and said they were good with it, and to the water department lighting and all those to get a final, just confirm that you're okay with it.
yeah, then we'll take a vote to advise the selectmen to pass it to the selectmen, so they take a formal vote to approve them.
Well, what about the street acceptance plan, because that goes to town council.
Yeah, we need to do that, but I'm saying we don't, but again, the selectmen take the final vote, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think Judy has been taking some time about getting these, street acceptance plans. She has a process that she goes through, I think.
What is the, because my understanding was that the planning board, like, will take a vote on the as-bills, but do they take a vote on the street acceptance plan?
Should, yeah.
At the same time?
It should, yeah.
So we do it, but it doesn't have to be a public hearing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so we're getting to the point, now we're in January, so we want
But the street acceptance plan is really what the town is accepting. They're not, the town's not accepting the as-built, the planning board does that. So it's two separate plans. And the town's accepting the street acceptance plan, which lays out the street that it's accepting.
she reviews it against the
Yeah.
deed as well.
Yeah.
that's like a title cert.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. It's a complicated, kind of work,
It's important.
yeah.
I told the departments to get back to me. I gave them 2 weeks to get back to me. Some of them have already gotten back, but it may not take that long, but I don't know if we want to go and set a, we can wait till the 11th or.
All right, you just keep us apprised of what, just keep the process going.
I'm just saying, the street acceptance, don't wait until last minute to get
Yeah.
that to town council.
Well, I was just gonna say, I was gonna put it on, if not before, I was gonna put it on the agenda for the 11th, for the next one, so that, just to let everybody know that will be coming up.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying, we
we'll
really need
have
to
a
do.
response, and I'll put it on that next agenda, unless everybody wants to meet.
Yeah, I just
sooner.
want to make sure we're ready, we take that vote and,
Get it on the agenda,
yeah.
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 So does, before we take the vote, it has to go to Judy?
No, I think you can,
Right.
before the town.
That's what I meant.
accept it.
So we take it and it goes to Judy, you gotta give her time.
It's part of the street acceptance hearing process,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
they actually have a
Yeah,
public
because,
hearing.
well, talk to Debbie, talk to,
But they want a recommendation.
can
They
you,
want a recommendation from the,
then,
It's gotta go through us.
then get some idea of the timeline, okay?
Yeah.
So we don't get caught short as, based on
yeah,
that.
I just, what I need to find out is how long, because they have like a,
'Cause it's
they do
getting-
a public hearing for it, it's like a,
The selectmen do, yeah.
Yeah, because the regular warrant, find out what their final drop dead date for the, I mean, obviously, they have the special town meeting warrant is a little
Yeah.
later sometimes, but
Yeah,
And I think Judy has to do some work for them, preparation for them to accept.
before they can take a vote.
yeah, yeah.
And then, only then does it get written up in the warrant. All right, just make sure, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be on that next agenda.
Keep that going, we've got so close.
Yeah, only there's only get like wild pasture.
Yeah, it should.
We haven't got
right
the
together.
as-bills for those yet.
All right, let's work closely with Larry.
Well, you're
please.
getting the street acceptance plans, in fact, I saw something that said that was already done. They're still working on the as-bills.
And also,
I haven't seen it
as time goes on, look carefully at, plenty of time what you might need for
Yeah.
expenditures in the office, like he's got such an antiquated computer and the screen is ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be something we have to put in the next
But just-
budget year.
No,
But
no, it's just a requisition, if we have the money,
yeah, okay, sure.
okay, so just in the expenses, in the expense item,
Yeah.
okay? Anything larger, work with the town and capital expenses, but anything for the office that's larger than,
Yeah.
we need to vote on it, that has to go in the warrant too, but if we're gonna increase the budget right now, it's pretty much, I'm sure it'll be flat. I'm sure it'll be, the funding will be, if not reduced, will be
Level.
at level. So, we'll deal with that in the next meeting, but keep that in mind.
Okay.
going forward.
I mean, she definitely shouldn't be challenged by the equipment you're using. You know, if you're using an old computer, that's just slowing you down
Oh, yeah.
and frustrating everything you
Yeah,
do.
you don't have good scanning equipment, you were left with some really antiquated stuff.
Well, the scanning, well, the only thing is, it's not color, but I do have the scanner, the desktop scanner, because I wanted to use it. But the copier here is a good scanning. I mean, the computer, it could be, I mean, I think this year would be the time to get an upgrade in the computer. 'Cause it is, even though it still works pretty well, but I mean, it does have you could go faster.
No, and then you can work with the IT, you get the IT people in town to come in, evaluate it, including the software, they're good, they're very good, have them
Yeah.
come in and evaluate your situation.
Yeah.
But again, you'd be surprised how fast the time goes by.
Yeah.
We don't wanna do that the last.
And then we can do a requisition right off
Yeah.
the existing budget.
Yeah.
Do it now so that we can,
Yeah.
you know, don't carry over if we
No.
can spend what we have and then start over.
All right, thanks for getting everything done tonight. Motion to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second, thank you very much. Got a lot
Thank
done.
you.
All right, guys.
now we can go home and eat.
Thanks, Kurt. Thank you, Larry. That was.
You mean to have that new drive-through window at your house?
David,
All
right?
those- did I say all in favor? Yeah, I did say that.
You
I
said-
second.
Okay.
Second, all in favor. That was unanimous. Thanks.
Criminal cases.
You going